Welcome to Mr.SNACKS Soul Cafe. My name is Tiana. And our host tonight is Hiroshi. Here he is.
Thank you, Tiana. Good to see you again. Thank you for being with me. And thank you all to the Snacks version, which is a shorter version of the podcast. It's about 12 minutes as opposed to the 25-minute longer one. But here we are. Let's get rolling. So we're going to talk about an illusion, the illusion of the past, the illusion of history. The sages have shared that the world is an illusion, Maya. Illusion doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does exist. It appears to be real to man. But it's an illusion. It's not real. Real meaning permanent, eternal, no beginning, no end. It's always present. Doesn't change. The illusory changes. The illusory comes and goes like thoughts. Whereas the thought you had yesterday, it's not here. So if it's not here, how can it be real? It doesn't exist at the moment. All right, I'm going to deal with the past. And man has taken the past, we all, for granted as a reality. And we haven't questioned its authenticity, really. And to question it seems to be kind of out of, kind of whacked. Because to the conditioned mind, because we assume that the past is real. It's illusory and not real. And we believe that through the conditioning that many things have happened in our lives and things that took place in the past. That's a belief. And life, as I've shared in the past, is the here and now, the present moment. And life is not in the past. And it's impossible to be physically present in the past. The past exists in the mind, in the form of thoughts, right? And dealing with history is not a true record of the past. It's just a perception of the past. It's the author's version of the past. It's like the, what's that movie? Oliver Stone's movie about the Kennedy assassination. It's his version of what happened back then, his interpretation. So history can never be true. It can be nearly true. It can approach what's true, but it can never be actually true because it's told through biased lenses. I mean, if you put on a pair of sunglasses and they're green, you're going to see the world as green. You put them on a red, you're going to see the world as red. But the goal of history is to bring us as close to the truth as possible, but it's not 100%. So let's deal with that, knowing that, understanding that. So it leaves you open for error, right? Okay, so let's take on the Titanic. I mean, just for fun. All right, let's deal with that because we all assume, according to the movie, the great James Cameron movie, that the Titanic hit the iceberg. That's what we've been told in history books, in the movies. And you know that science has recently debunked that theory, that the Titanic went down because of the iceberg. And one of the most damning pieces of information that was concealed by the owners of the Titanic, was that there was a massive coal fire that had started to burn inside the ship's storage area, coal storage area, where, the workmen were shoveling the coal into the ship's burners and all that in an effort to control it. But the heat became so intense, it warped the whole of the ship, and it showed. There was a huge black spot on the side of the boat that was there. There was a fire, and they knew this fire was going, but not telling anyone about it. They covered it up. And this fire was happening before the launch. But they were not going to cancel the launch. There's too much money involved. And further on, apparently it's also why the captain forced the ship into top speed. You've heard about that, right? It was really going fast, too fast, into the icebergs because he knew the coal reserves were burning off and there wouldn't be enough to cross the Atlantic at the regular speed. So they had to speed up so they can make it, or they wouldn't have made it across the Atlantic. There you go. And there was some confusion, a lot of confusion, in fact, on releasing the lifeboats. In fact, the first couple of the lifeboats, they didn't load up enough people on there. I think the first lifeboat only had about 20 or 30 people on there. You got to check me out on the, not sure the exact amount, but there was room enough for maybe 40 more. So they sent it out too quickly. Wow, what a huge mistake, Captain Smith. Now, my point about history, the past being an illusion, is that, really, dead men, they say dead men tell no tales, but the historians that are alive do. And I'm into, there's no true history. Just the people that are alive writing could be BS. I love history, even though it's illusory, but I see a lot of it in the fiction section. What other myths? Moving on. Napoleon. He was called Le Petit Corporal. You look into it, he was 5'7" tall. That's taller than the average Frenchman during that time. We've been told that he was short. Moving along. Edison invented the electric light bulb. Look into that. George Washington, yeah, the cherry tree thing. And that he was America's first president. Nope. It was, I think, Peyton Randolph was the first president. Well, being raised also in Philadelphia, Philly, city of brotherly love. Used to go and see the Liberty Bell, and of course, Betsy Ross designed and sewed the first American flag. There is no historical evidence for that at all. This is another story. And I can go on. I'm not going to get into the 9/11 thing and, the controversy, JFK assassination. Remember being in high school, being told from the Japanese side of the story, they were forced into a war with the United States. And the attack on Pearl Harbor wasn't a surprise attack. FDR was fully aware the Japanese ships were going towards Pearl Harbor. But they allowed the attack to take place, causing many deaths on both sides, of course. And what else? How about on a more serious note? Jesus Christ. Was there a real Jesus Christ? Was there a real Buddha? Do we know for sure? Scholars have argued on both sides. How about Christianity? We're told that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But when you look into it, there's no evidence of that. We do not know who wrote those books. Time is an illusion. Scientists have talked about. There's books on that by very prominent scientists. Time appears to be flowing from the past, right, to the present, to the future. But in reality, is this the case? Modern physics, Advaita, Vedanta, and plus your own experience proves time is an illusion. Okay? Have we ever experienced the past? No. What you experience is a memory of the past. And that memory of the past is experienced when? Now. In the here and now. In the present moment. Memory is just a thought in the mind. So everything is now. Nothing exists outside of now. You notice that? When does anything happen? Now. So the present moment in the now is the only thing that we can establish as the reality. Nothing happens outside of the here and now. So time is an illusion. And even Einstein said the past, present, and future is an illusion. So all there is just this energy, which isn't divided. This energy isn't separated. It's one. There's the appearance of separation that appears, of course, in the mind. But everything's one. So how does that apply to the past, present, or future? It seems they're all separate. That's the illusion. That we've been conditioned to believe that the past, present, and future are all separate, sequential experiences. In our time doesn't exist. So there exists only the present moment, the here and now, the instant moment. There's no yesterday, nor any tomorrow, but only now. Is the past real? Of course not. If it were, you can go back there. You can't go back there again because that implies that the past actually exists. Since the past doesn't exist, you can't travel back in time. There's only the present, the here and now. But the mind is fun. It's a great tool. It's a time machine. You can go back in the past, right? Imagination. Imagine yourself in caveman days if you want. Imagine yourself back with your former spouse. Imagine yourself in the future with your future ex-wife. Anyway, so my point is that now is all there is. Excuse me. And now is timeless. And so what about the watch you're wearing, or the clock on the wall, your cell phone? These are devices that are used to measure time, right? Does a day pass? Does an hour pass? Does a minute pass, or a second when you're not looking at your cell phone or your watch? So what is time defined by? Time is defined by the number of ticks a clock makes, right? Time, therefore, is a thought in the human mind and not an actuality in life. So in closing, what I've been sharing is that time is present in our minds as a thought and not as an actuality, not as a reality in life. So what does this mean? We throw our watches away, our cell phones away? Show up late for work or early? Doesn't matter? No. In this manifestation, there is time. Time is in the mind. But in life, life is timeless. Life is thoughtless. The world is an illusion, Maya. The manifestation is illusory. It's not real, but it appears real. Goodbye. Have a nice evening.